Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to work on week 1 of the National Quilter Circle Spring 2025 free quilt along. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the quilt I chose to make is the 69 by 69 inch quilt. There is another version that is available that's half the size. It's a 34 by 34 inch quilt. But in my videos, I am going to be making the 69 by 69. Okay, so we're going to need a light and a dark fabric. Our fabric A is our light, and that's our background fabric. You can either use scrappy lights or one fabric. I'm using one fabric. So you'll need 3.5 yards. Now she said that she gave us a little extra in case we make mistakes in our fabric amounts, okay? So don't panic. Fabric B is going to be, you can either do scrappy or one fabric. I'm doing scrappy because I have a ton of scraps left over from a couple years ago when I made a bunch of quilt. So I'm just going to put all those scraps together. Now you want your scraps to be medium to dark prints, and if they have a print, make it a really small print. You'll need about 3.5 yards of those. You can use scraps, you can use fat quarters, and then binding, she said you need 2/3 of a yard for the large quilt. All right. This is the fabrics that I will be using in my quilt. So as you see, I have a bolt of a light off-white cream tone on tone for my background, and then I do have a pile over there to the left of light for the background, but I did not end up using those. I went ahead and put those back. I just pulled them when I pulled all of these scrap fabrics to go together. And then of course you need to print off your week 1 instructions. You'll need your ruler, rotary cutter, mat, sewing machine. All right, so let's get started on the first step. All right, so for week 1, we're going to make 36 4-patch blocks. All right, so the instructions say to cut 2.5 inch squares, and you're going to sew those all together to make your 4 patches. Now, I didn't do it that way because my scraps are all different sizes. What I did is I cut my fabric in 2.5 inch wide strips. I sewed those to my 2.5 inch wide strips of my background, and then I'm going to cut them 2.5 inches. All right, so you can do it the way I'm doing it, or you can do it the way she has in the instructions, which she's just going to have you cut 72 2.5 inch squares for your background and 30 4.5 inch squares of background. Now those 4.5 inch squares, we're just going to cut those and set them aside. We're not going to be sewing them to the 4 patches. Just cut them and set them aside. Then fabric B is your colored fabric. You can either do, remember, scrappy or single fabric. Just make sure if you use a print, it's a small print. And you will need to cut 72 2.5 inch squares. All right, so the next step is to make our 2-patch units. So you're going to, according to the instructions, take your 2.5 inch squares, one of your background and one of your colored fabric, and start sewing them together and make 72 2-patch units. Now, I didn't do it that way. What I did is the strips. So I'm taking a background strip and a colored strip, and I'm going to sew them together. Then I'm going to go to the iron and press them open after I've sewn my strips together. And then I'm going to cut my strips into 2.5 inches, okay? All right, so I'm going to continue cutting 2.5 inches until I have my 72 2 patches. All right, so now that I have 72 two patches, I'm showing you how I have them in my different colorways with my scraps here. I have them piled up so that now I can go to the sewing machine and sew those two patches into 4 patches. Once I have all of my 4 patches sewn together, I should have 36 units, and then I'm going to go to the iron and I'm going to press them open. Okay, guys, so as you can see, week 1 block, the 4 patch is very easy to make. Get out them scraps. We know you have tons of them. Okay, so I wanted to let you know how you too can join in on the free quilt along. You can go to the National Quilter Circle website at www.nationalquilterscircle.com and sign up for the quilt along. Do it on their website, and then every Monday for 6 weeks, they will send you the next block to make in the quilt along. It's a mystery, so we don't really know what the quilt's going to look like until probably the very end. So I just wanted to thank National Quilter Circle. You can also go on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, they have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. And check out both of those, and they'll probably have links to the weekly blocks also. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Monday for week 2. Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel.